expert system Byzantine law and acts, and Thesaurus of concept and tense. I dedicate my demonstration to the blessed memory of Professor Boris Fonkich. Byzantine law and texts are integral part of the world cultural and scholarly heritage. Its studying demands the application of new digital technologies. The expert system Byzantine law and texts is represented as conceptual project, which provides for development of a standalone version of expert system and online Thesaurus of law, concept, and tense. The building of expert system complexes is carried on principles of a system approach to the development and implementation of means which ensure a free access to video, audio, and text information of expert data on the monuments of Byzantine law and texts. This is standalone version of expert system and its contents. The object and subject, and so on. Knowledge-based annotations. The center of expert data is information array of knowledge-based annotations. It, including primary textual information, is designed to support the information and analytical expertise of materials of Byzantine law and texts as a scientific and critical apparatus. The knowledge-based annotations is intended, as I said, for special categorical data search in an information array of scientific and critical apparatus of sources. The representation of data on relations of sections and articles of law monuments and texts is fulfilled as a special information analytical function of the knowledge base and the analysis of metadata. For example, text of Libre Basilicorum, the greatest legislation of Byzantium, in comparison with the Digest of Justinian and other compilations. As well, their metadata, the attribution of this text. The forecasting retrieval is developed for data of information array of knowledge-based annotation. This data retrieval is destined to carry out explication of correlations between the sections and articles of law and text which were previously not obvious to the user on the basis of the determined data. The first stage is to fix symmetric connections. The second stage is fixation of transitive position of segments of sources. In the first stage, the forecasting retrieval is to fix, as I said and repeated, symmetric connection of the object from A to B in the reciprocal directions. Then the machine processing is to fix transitive relation of the object, the determination of connection from B to C is foundation to set possible pairwise comparison from A to C. Thus, the forecasting retrieval explicates transitive connections. It demonstrates the determined relation between the objects from A to B in the object C. It's an adjunct to the object A. And this procedure guides to the following comparison and fixation of positive results of information and analytic retrieval. So for casting retrieval serves to settle a scientific identification of neutrally correlated text of studied sources. Please pay attention. These data are absent in this list. Thus, we have just found new knowledge. The system of the multifunctional retrieval by descriptors finds information on the descriptions of documents, their dating, subject classifiers, commentaries of experts. This is descriptor and expert evaluation. Find example of commentaries to the titles of this segment of text and comparison it. The system served to seek for authentic concept and terms. There are two revealed as well as Latin, Greek, and Slavonian lexes of monuments of Byzantine law and its Slavonian receptions. For examples, the simplest. Well, I choose some words, and now find it in database. Seek for some words in text with limited and without limits, and Greek agela and Slavonian words have means ahead of flock, and the result of such in different version of nomos georgikos, this text and words as Greek and Slavonian compilations. The block of information expertise. The block of information expertise is the main means of storage and direct representation of expert knowledge in structure of expert system. This block accumulates expert data in the proper sense of word, including video, audio, and text interview of leading branch specialists, as well as graphic schemes, tables, and other visual materials employers to get expert evaluations. For example, the scheme of kinship or map in each position of this block is connected to the correspondent sources, and so on. At present stage of development of humanities, the studying on the Byzantine law and acts, especially concept and terms, is certainly justified only through use of the methods of cognitive analysis and representation. The participant of the project developed own methodology and means of analysis taking into consideration of achievement of theory and practice of development of the expert system, computer semantics, and cognitive representation. For example, reception of concept finium rigondorum. This is written in marginalium. Then we try to seek for reception in text of Scholium in Libri Vasilicorum. Of this concept. No. Of this reception, this finium regundorum in Greek. This is name of subject in actio pro socio in civil law. The quarrel for regulating land boundaries of property. And so on. The expert review is the main form expertise which gives the title to all system examinations. Сегодня мы берем интервью у главного научного сотрудника Института всеобщей истории РАН и главного специалиста по греческой дипломатике и кодикологии Бориса Львовича Фонкича. И первый вопрос к Борису Львовичу. О чем вы сегодня нам расскажете?
Я хотел бы рассказать о необходимости изучения документов не только с точки зрения их содержания, что самое главное, конечно, и с точки зрения каких-то внешних особенностей, ну, в смысле размеров, печати и прочее, но с точки зрения важности их палеографического изучения.
And so on. In this light, the foreground task of the project is focused on development of special software to support the machine processing of expert information, of knowledge-based annotation, and block of information expertise. First of all, systems of special information and analytic retrieval and database navigation. The expert puts the source in the forefront. For example, the colophon of Greek patriarch Philatheus. This is block of names. Well, well, Philatheus. This is subscription colophon. And we return annotation. and see texts and listen to expert.
Это замечательный документ. Конечно, на таком образце почерка мы не видим, но в данном случае здесь важен не столько почерк самого документа, сколько подпись патриарха. Ну, мы, изучая документы, привыкли.
And so on. The video interviews could be represented in the regime so-called discussion. This is successful viewing and listening to expert interview given in the fixed chronological range. For example, Professor Bubala and Professor Sharkic discuss the code of Stefan Dusan, Serbian legislation of 14th century.
Ovaj trodelni kodeks obično se naziva Dušanovo zakonodavstvo, iako nema nedvosmislenih dokaza o tome da su još za Dušanova života ova tri zakonska teksta združeni u jedan pravni.
To je znači ta prva intencija. A druga intencija, daleko bitnija, je da se svi društveni odnosi regulišu zakonom.
Thank you very much. The method contains a special documents. Their contents are particularly different, and they require very different program applications for machine processing of their scientific and critical apparatus and expert information. Therefore, the knowledge-based annotations and block of information expertise is in every their position are correlated to the implemented program application. These are block names, block of concept and terms, block of cognitive mapping, application lexicon, including the integral lexicon, and module of determination of information affinity. So, the block of concept and terms contains an information array that is convoluted by data on Latin, Greek, and Slavonian concepts and terms, as well as reception and transliteration. Here, not only lexes and separate word forms are represented, but also word combination and syntagmas possess their own logic. The accomplishment of information retrieval is likewise implemented by function of the search for semantic equivalent of concept and terms in other languages. For example, choose concept libertas. This is definition of freedom by Florentinus, the Roman lawyers. Seek for its equivalent in text. compare them. This is definition Florentine and its compilation. Not only Greek, but Slavonian, Greek, Slavonian, and so on. Besides, it's significant to know the specificity of the reception and transliteration. They could be written by Latin and Greek science. The best specimen is the concept Respublica. It's marked by a remarkable variety. Commentary to 19 variants of transcription in Greek and so on. They are represented here. And now we seek for them in texts. Just a moment. And we could see them in text of, for example, Greek and Latin invariant, compare mixed. Or for example, Greek and Latin variants, and so on. Now, the online version of expert system is put in practice. First of all, the demo version of the Thesaurus of concept and terms of Byzantine and medieval Slavonian law and texts. Its alpha version is represented in the website of the project. The Thesaurus is based on the block of concept and terms. The system design of Tezaurus makes provision for integration of the authentic Latin, Greek, and Slavonian concepts and terms, as well as lexis, word forms, set expression, and syntagmas. For example, 1-2 reception. This is the signification of part of heritage word forms. Results. And once more. Fidecommissarius. This is who got heritage. Syntagmus. Results. The Thesaurus is to be provided with the representation for lexicons of monuments of Byzantine law and its Slavonian reception, independently of language and transcription of lexis. Its meaning will be exposed by context and sources according to program function of online version Tezaurus. Integral lexicons, fontes, for example, and so on, and analytical function for example, comparison of lexicons and the difference one and so on. The fulfillment of this task and the representation of factual information is precondition of success compiling of Tezaurus as a part of the online version expert system. The expert system Byzantine law and texts waits for all specialists who are interested in the active collaboration to take part in the project as expert. This is what I am ready to demonstrate to you today. The representation is over. Thank you for attention.